Welcome to my first video. I'm someone who usually only posts on X short form content on TA, mainly crypto, but sometimes also stocks. I found it was really hard sometimes to put complex ideas into simple posts on X. That's why I want to try out longer form videos to get more into detail and to better explain my thoughts, because sometimes they might be really complex and there are many nuances that need to be discussed. For this first video to try out, I just want to give an overview on Bitcoin, on the count from start to finish, from the higher to the lower time frames, that you get a basic idea what my views and all the possibilities are. I assume that we finished an impulse in the 2017 high following a second wave correction. After that, we would expect the third of this orange wave, but it didn't come. We only saw another one. That's because an impulse in itself, the third wave, this orange 3, is also made out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this internal 3 is also made of 5 waves. So we saw this first of 5 of the third wave. There is some controversy here where some people put the high on this high, the top on this high, some people put the top on that high. Long term, it really doesn't matter where you put it. The targets are more or less the same. I think it makes more sense over here because it is very common in commodities to have moves that are 5 waves, but they look like 3. They look like 1, 2, 3, but in reality there's like a tiny 4 in there. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After that we saw a second wave correction in an expanded flat. After which we might expect another third wave, this time the 3 of this red count. The target area for that 3 is actually hit, so there is a chance that we finished this 3 here. I don't think it's likely, but it's a possibility. Why I don't think it's likely is because if we have a third waves are usually really steep, really strong, really impulsive, and look more parabolic, whereas first waves or fifth waves are more diagonally, and this is what this looks like to me, more likely. I think that we finished an impulse here. The internal count differs from analyst to analyst. Some people have the high over here, some have it over here, but I don't think that really matters. What matters is where is the top, and did we already see this one? Did we see it here? Did we see it here? Or is it maybe even still coming? I think that it makes the most sense here, simply because this is very nicely countable as 5 wave up. And this move in itself, if this high was over here, this would need to be a 5th wave, which would also need to be a 5 wave move. And this is really hard for me to count as 5 waves. The way people do it is usually by a diagonal, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. I don't think it's clean, I think it's forced. I think it makes more sense to have a corrective B wave over here in an expanded flat, meaning the B wave of the correction can surpass the previous high, but will later be followed by a steep move down. I think we currently are in that steep move down in wave C. After wave C is finished, wave 2 could be done as well, and we would see after that a continuation in a third wave, which will be made in 5 waves as well, and then a 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. But this count up here is years, if not decades out. So what we need to focus on right now is this move that we are in right now, and what's the next move to follow. So there are two issues that we have there. which are that the usual target area of the second wave, this darker here, is not yet met. It's only below 63K. This lighter gray area could occur in really bullish cases, although I usually only see it in small cap coins or on lower time frames. And given that we are on the weekly time frame in Bitcoin, a really large cap, there's not much chance I give it that we end up only reaching this lighter gray area. I think we need the darker gray area. And in addition, usually we expect wave 2 to be at least the golden ratio of the first wave, better of equal length. Equal length would be right here, the start of the dark gray area, which would be March 2027. The golden ratio would be of May of 2026. So we would have at least half a year more correcting to be done. So that would mean that we need some sort of bigger correction before this 2 is finished, which does not mean that we need to have it. These time requirements are not a rule, but they are guidelines. They generally occur. So there is a possibility that we finish C, we finish 2, and we go up pretty fast. But more likely to me seems that this is just one part of the correction, and then a second and a third part needs to follow. There are 2 possibilities how I see that happen. The first one would be with a bigger expanded flat, meaning that this expanded flat or running flat only finishes the A wave. We see a 3 wave move down, up to the B wave, and then another steep move down. The way flats are made is in 3, where this surpasses the high, and then a 5 move down, so they are slow, slow, fast. And that's what we saw here. Here, the fast move down, and a similar fast move like this should occur here, where it goes just really strongly down, same to here. It would be a really similar situation to here, where we sold off pretty badly, ended in this A, had bullish news. I think over here it was Tesla accepting Bitcoin, which sparked the rally. People were calling for 100K, but then it was clear that price could not be pushed higher, and we saw the last wave down. Something similar could occur over here, where we get some sort of bullish news in this low. People start calling for 150K, 200K, or even higher, but it is clear from the uptrend that it is corrective. We might surpass the target area, that is possible, so we might actually see 150K, and then we see another steep wave down. The other possibility that I see is more bearish. It's a combination where we only saw, we don't label this A, we label it W, and then we get an X. This X does not go as high as the B in the previous scenario, and then we get not a steep move, but rather a corrective 3-wave move to finish off the correction. I can't really say which one of these is more likely at the moment. I think both are pretty much equally likely. Judging based on sentiment and how low Fear and Greed Index is, I would think that the expanded flat is more likely, but only really slightly, maybe like 52 to 48% or something. Yeah, it would make sense narrative-wise that we get bullish news, we pump, or maybe make a new all-time high, maybe see 150K. People get really bullish. Retail jumps in at the high, and we get calls for 200K, 300K, or maybe even more. And then we just get a rude awakening and really steep move down, coupled with bearish news. There is a more bullish alternative. That's the one over here. It's an extension. An extension is when we have a move which is pretty much done. But since the last move, this one over here, is made out of 5 moves as well, it can be 5, not 5 smaller moves, it can be 5 bigger moves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is common in crypto. It is the situation that happened in these 2 bull runs, where we start slow and then we go parabolically at the end. That's an extension. That might be the case over here as well. In that case, we would have already seen the first and the second wave of the extension, and then we get 3, 4, and 5, and the top is over here. I don't think it's likely because we dropped really low, and I don't think on the lower time frames that this move here is done necessarily. And if it is not done, then the invalidation at 74.5k is really close, and as soon as the red line is undercut, this bullish alternative is off the charts. But it is worth knowing, and if we really see bullish moves here, then it might get more likely.